All right, this is one of several uprights. They're going to be the main supports for the screen house. They're all going to be 10 feet long, except for one, which you'll see in a later video. I'm anchoring these 2 feet in the ground with cement. The purpose of these holes, and they go all the way around the pipe. They're staggered. The purpose of these holes, they're 1 inch diameter, is to help cement get inside the pipe so it'll be more secure. It's really impractical since I'll have 8 feet sticking up above the ground to try and pour cement through the top, So I just drill these holes in here, and then I mix the cement pretty wet so it flows really good, and it'll get inside through these holes, and so when it sets up, it'll anchor that pipe real good. All right, so I'll clean up all the chips and the cutting oil off of this, and then start on a couple pieces of channel iron that I'm going to use for bracing. All right, I got to cut all this wire the full length, and then cut the old bolts, get those brackets off of there, and then flip this thing over, cut the heads off the bolts and pull all that wood out of there. And then I'm going to cut this thing to 151 inches initially, and use this as a cross brace as I finish setting the uprights, specifically that guy right there. And so everything's plumb and square and level. And yeah, so I'm not going to bore you with cutting off nuts and bolts and stuff like that. That's not real riveting content. So anyway, I'll bring you back when this is all cleaned up. Well, I forgot to turn the camera back on. That chunk of orange channel iron at the bottom, the cross brace there, I was going to take a quick shot of that after I was done cleaning it up and getting the brackets off, and I forgot. So, but that's what I'm temporarily using it for. I clamped the bottom, and then I had this 2x4 to brace the top so I could get this third post plumb and level. I don't know if you can see that. Also, I've got, it'll probably blend right in, but I've got a line strung across from the wall to the, sorry if I'm making you dizzy, to the first post over there, so I keep the tops of the posts reasonably even and level, and they're within about 1/8 of an inch or so, which is good enough. So now, once this, once this concrete cures up, then I'm going to use this rail as a vertical, which I will bolt to the wall. And that will be the final upright on this end of the screen house. Then I will put a couple of horizontals across and start fitting those panels. Also, this, between these two posts right here, there's going to be a door. Probably a Dutch door. Don't know yet. It just depends on how, as I'm cutting those metal panels, how that shapes up. As you can see, got a hose hooked up to that tank. We have been getting daily torrential downpours, monsoon downpours, which has slowed me way down on this project. As you can see, the overflow has been spitting lots of excess water, and it's been draining right over there into that hole that I just poured concrete in. So I have got to get something post-haste connected to that, so I'm not losing water. I got to get an overflow tank. I think in the meanwhile, I'm going to have a couple of wheelbarrows at the ready and just park it under that, just catch the excess, and go from there. Anyway, got a hose connected to this ball valve hose bib. Runs over here to this nifty little unit that I have encased in a little plastic container because this is not a submersible pump. I bought this on sale, and you can see I got water on the top from monsoon rain blowing in here. This is a Drummond I bought at Harbor Freight. My original plan was to get a 12-volt DC pump with a little battery set up and a solar panel sitting on top of the wall. And then I got to looking at the cost of all that, and I thought, you know, why don't I just use a regular old 120-volt AC pump? This is just 1/10 horsepower, 320 gallons an hour, which is fine because that's only a 420-gallon tank. And if I decide not to use the pump, I can hook a hose straight to that. If we have a power failure, I can still get water out of that tank. So why go to all the extra expense of the solar when I can just do this? And it works quite well. It's a little noisier than I like, but it works. Oh, there's my ugly shadow again. So I'll pull this ball valve down. Sorry, one-handed. Nancy loves it, by the way. We're not using any well water. We're using good old rainwater. Look at the flow. Pretty doggone good. So she's happy with it, which means I'm happy with it. Because she does most of the gardening these days. I pretty much stick to the fruit orchard. Okay. So there's a little more on the screen house. The next step, when I bring you back, I'll be hanging horizontals and maybe some panels. And so we'll see how it goes.